Okay, shalawam. First off, I want to say all praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Quadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of GMS, to the elect doing the work in sincerity and in truth. Shalawam. GMS precepts here in the Zar Khud. Um, so I want to go over. This is as you can see, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10, the 10th chapter. I want to go over something that was brought up at camp that we did. Um, and it's about, and I got a few articles here as well. So let me just read this. Um, well, let me go to the article first, and I'll bring it in. This is the second article. The first article here. This is something that happened about a week ago. Senate staffer alleged by conservative outlets that have had sex in a hearing room is no longer employed. Right. So yeah, it is what it said. You read that correctly. Excuse me, conservative, can't read right now. Conservative news outlets alleged that the aide to Senate Ben Cardin appeared in a leaked video showing men, you see, men having sex in a Senate hearing room, right? So basically, a guy got caught, um, in a hearing room doing something crazy. I don't know, orgy or some group situation, but it said men having sex in a Senate room. Okay, so this is what's going on in in D.C. You know, these politicians. Once you find out about them, you find out they do some really foul and nasty shit, man. Right? It says Ben Cardin's office has parted ways with staffer who conservative outlets alleged was shown in a leaked video having sex in a Senate hearing. Well, who knows? This dude probably could have been in that video, man. Right? And this country has a history, as far as the politicians alone, they have a history of doing. Oh, what about when they all go to Cali? Oh shit, what's that place? When all the presidents, you had Nixon. He said he's seen the nastiest, gayest shit ever. Oh man, the name escapes me. Lord willing, I remember it. But it's a retreat that these politicians, all of them do, no matter if they're Democrat or Republican, they all go there and they just, they go and worship the owl, Molech, something forest. I can't remember the name, but they do some. He said Nixon said he's seen the nastiest, gayest shit ever over there. You see, so these politicians, and they were all groomed, because they do all that nasty, decrepit debauchery going back to their college days. All your top future leaders and politicians, they're found and they're groomed in these fraternities and colleges. So it's nothing new to them, you know. So them freaking off in a Senate hearing room, that's no big deal. That's just another Tuesday. Aide Mays, whoever, is no longer employed by the U.S. Senate, the Maryland Democrats office said in a statement to NBC News on Saturday, which was first obtained by Politico. We will not we will know we will have no further comment on this personal matter, right? So this is, what day is this? This is the 16th. And then you have another one. A second gay congressional staffer was filmed having sex in the Capitol building. What is this date? This is this is the 21st. So it's multiple. Okay? A Senate staffer has made headlines earlier this week after a video of him engaging in sexual acts with another man inside of a Senate bed. It turns out he wasn't the first. News broke on Wednesday of a second investigation into a congressional staffer who allegedly filmed himself performing sex acts with another man inside the U.S. building in the summer of 2022. The videos first circulate on Snap. All right, that's enough. You get the point here. But now I'm gonna go back to the scripture here in Ecclesiasticus, right? It says, as a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As a judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. You see? And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So, basically, the politicians and the leaders of a society, the people that follow them or the people of that society are mirror images of their leaders, right? When you have a righteous society, you have righteous people. When you have a wicked society and wicked rulers, you have wicked people. You see? Let me get this other article here showing you that this is this isn't a one-time situation. This is an article from the Times dated 1989. Rep. Frank admits employing male prostitute as aide. Says he fired him after learning sex was being sold out of his Capitol apartment. So he had a damn sex ring. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. He had a damn flex ring in his damn basement, man. Bernie Frank. I remember this. Came out where I found out about this in like 2012. It says Barney Frank, one of two acknowledged homosexuals in the House of Rep, admitted Friday that he had employed a male prostitute as a personal aide, but that he fired him after learning that the Congressional's Capitol Hill apartment was being used as a house of prostitution. You see? Let's see if I got a picture. I mean, you don't need to see a picture. Let me see. You don't need to see a picture of this guy, right? But I'm bringing this article out to show you that this is in this whole, sex in a Senate hearing room, and doing all this nasty, freaky shit with each other. This isn't new news. This isn't a one time or random occurrence. This is something that's these people, these politicians have a history of doing. You see? All right. So that's why the scriptures say now we bring it to the people today. We have the sexual revolution that started in the 60s or the 70s, right? When it was all about freedom and sexual liberty. They call it the sex lib movement, where sexual immorality was introduced. But that was all a method done by your leaders, because that was part of their plan to introduce sexual immorality, because they know if you introduce sexual immorality into a society, it's going to play a major part in the downfall of that society. Right? So this book is do I have that book? It is this book, it's this book right here, Ralph A. Epperson, right? Let me see, try to get a good picture of it. The New World Order book by Ralph A. Epperson. You really can't see it, but this is it right here. Here it is, the New World Order book. I should get another copy. The New World Order book by A. Ralph Epperson, and this book was written in the late 80s, 88, 89, and look at the stuff that he was able to predict, right? The New World Order will include changes in the family, the workplace, and religion. So let's just read the family. It says homosexual marriages will be legalized. That was legalized in the early 2010s, I believe. President Obama did that, as we all know. He made it legal. It was legal in certain states, but he made it legal all 50, right? It says that's why this place is called spiritually Egypt, or spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah, right? It says parents will not be allowed to raise their children. The state will, which we see that you have all kids going into public school where they're taught by trained mostly women that influence them in this weird society, weird liberal society that we have today, and brainwash our children, right? It says parents will not be allowed to raise their own children. The state will. All women will be employed by the state and not allowed to be homemakers, right? If you're a stay-at-home wife, they shame you. You see, they made it seem and that's you could think feminism with that, because they made feminism. Feminism has made being a wife and being a mother. They made that as something oppressive, which is crazy, right? And it says divorce will become exceedingly easy. You see that happen every day. I believe the average marriage is 3 years, before it's a divorce, you have 70% of women. I'm being conservative with that number too. I think it might be more, but you have 70% of women that initiate divorce. I mean, the divorce rate is crazy, right? It says divorce will become exceedingly easy and monogamous marriage will be slowly phased out. So that's the part I really want to focus on. It says monogamous marriage will be slowly phased out, right? It's to a point now where it makes no point to get married. And part of that is introducing, and what played a part in that is introducing this sexual immorality in society, where sex is used to be something sacred, something shared between not only a man and a woman, but a life partner, right? A woman, and you go in the scriptures, a woman would have, ideally, she would have one man, and the man would stay with that woman and other women if he so pleased or if he could afford it until they passed away. Now, monogamous marriage, or the idea of having, a family structure is totally destroyed, and you can thank the sexual movement for that. Oh, so this is this is what I didn't read too much of this. I'll leave this also, but this sexual immorality was introduced in the Weimar Republic as well, and that was one of the things that brought that country down. Also, sexual immorality. You also had the small hats that were overly represented. They made up a small percentage of society, but yet they were overrepresented, right? And they were placed in certain positions of power, and they were able to dictate a lot of they had a lot of influence on rules and regulations in that society. So, but part of what brought down the Weimar Republic, and we know the famous quote, or the famous you need a whole wheelbarrow of money for a loaf of bread, where inflation was at like supersonic speed. Part of what destroyed Germany was the sexual reform movement, or the sexual liberation that was introduced. And this is another one, right? I'll leave this also. And this is in the 60s, right? The Kentler Project, it introduced a lot of these guys to foster young boys, right? I think that's all the articles. I didn't want to. I just wanted to read it, but since I showed it, I'll leave that in the description also. I believe that's all the articles. I believe that's all the articles I had. But I'll leave these also in the articles. But yeah, so it says, I read that scripture again, Ecclesiastes the 10th chapter, 2nd verse. As a judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So the America is a nation that leads in sexual immorality, and now all other countries have drunken, or most countries have drunken of that wine, of that philosophy. You see, it's crazy, but it's to a point now where if you're a man, it's like you'll be lucky if you ever had a virgin in your whole life. I don't think I ever had a virgin, man. But that's the society we live in, man. It's disgusting, man, and that's just one reason why, the Most High needs to send His Son down here to deliver us, man. Because it's all you could do is Ezekiel 9:4, man. But anyway, Lord willing, you brothers and sisters were edified. Until next show, shalawam.